All right, sick, and we are live. We're up on the interwebs.
We are on the webs.
If I could
You're right.
not stutter at least once when we do an intro, that'd be great. But you know. So
Hey,
how you been, Jack? How you been?
I've been good. Surviving. Doing the
Yeah,
best I can
standard
in
in
these
it,
trying
surviving.
times. Mm.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Okay. Yeah. Same old really. I've
Mm.
just been waiting for Watch Dogs Legion to come out.
Yes. Same.
Like
Is
I,
that
I've been
today?
playing it for a fair bit today, and really fucking good. Like first mission hits quite hard. Like not like personally, but it's like, oh, weird. Oh, so it's like it's clever, the way they do it, and it's funny considering that it was supposed to come out in March, and it was delayed until now, but they didn't delay it until the 5th of November. It's like
Oh,
the first mission, it starts off with you having to essentially stop the stop Parliament from getting blown up. You have to be the anti-Guy
oh
Fawkes.
God, yeah. What were we talking about
So
last
yeah,
last
yeah.
episode, the episode before?
But essentially, DedSec gets pinned for it, even though they're the one that stopped bombs going off at the House of Parliament. But unfortunately, there were 3 or 4 other bombs. So,
Disaster.
yeah,
What a
they
disaster.
had to save the House of Commons of everything. Like,
Why? Like,
in it.
come on. Let us at least have some virtual satisfaction.
I know, right?
Just let us live it for that little tiny meaningless moment.
But honestly, man, I'm loving like the atmosphere, walking around London and shit like that. I run into a couple of the spots where we'd stayed as well.
Mm.
And I'd taken photos,
Is it
which
like
was quite cool.
is it like proper scale and proper?
It's a bit of London, and it's not like all super accurate to scale or anything like that, but it does look really good. Like, honestly, like I'm bearing in mind I'm getting like 30 to 40 frames a second with it, I think, but I've got mostly everything maxed out, and it looks fucking incredible even without ray tracing.
Mm.
Like, it looks how the like remember I said before, like I'm really hoping this will look how the original Watch Dogs should have. It does. It looks so good.
Good.
It looks fucking incredible, man. I love it. And the best part is, the cars, like in Far Cry, have an auto drive feature.
Oh yeah.
So
So you can do shit like you can't like. Was that in the first game?
it wasn't. No, there
Yeah.
was
So
no
I was like
self-driving cars or nothing.
trying to drive and also do other shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, make this a little easier. Otherwise, I can't get creative with it.
I fucking it's great. Like I always love it because it means that I can just relax in between missions and just put auto drive on to the waypoint and just sit back and chill and have a little smoke or something, you know?
Mm.
So I'm loving that at the moment. And I love all the slogans that are coming out with it as well. Like I can see them popping up at future protests and shit like that.
Fair. Fair. Yeah, yeah. It's almost like planting them there ready.
But honestly, it with the narrative that it has, it like everyone needs to play it right now because like with Corona, like everyone that's getting a bit like testy at people like shouting at the government over coronavirus and shit like that, they need to play this game because it really explains like why we need to shout at the government for all of their failings.
Fair.
Like I keep reminding myself of I don't remember who it was, but they made a comparison between like George Orwell and Aldous Huxley. Orwell believed that we would be made so angry at something else that we'd have no we wouldn't be able to perceive like the threat from within. And Huxley was worried that we'd get so bombarded with shit all the time that we'd all just become complacent.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm thinking it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So I'm loving this game at the moment, honestly.
So
I've played maybe fully 4 hours. What's that?
Is it fully out? Yeah.
Yeah. The online isn't out, but otherwise, yeah, the online comes out like 1st December, I think. So make sure you get it ready for that.
Yes. What is the online?
So I'm not entirely sure, but from what I gather, it's gonna be some sort of like it's like a 3-player co-op thing. I guess I really hope that you get to have the whole open world to the 3 of you. But I don't know for sure, and I know at least you'll be able to do like missions, like choosing different operatives and going through a mission with the 2 of your other mates. That's the thing though. That's a bit weird. It's only 3-player multiplayer.
That's quite odd. You normally see 2 or 4.
Yeah. It's a very, very strange. I can only imagine it's something to do with like hardware limitations or something, which is strange, but you know. Oh, excuse me.
But yeah,
so
29th, isn't it? Today.
Anyways, I think that brings us in quite neatly to the subject of today's podcast. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Which
is today we are looking into conspiracies and shit. And of course, just like in the game, there's plenty of conspiracies going about in the real world. So while in Watch Dogs, you got that DedSec being done up for trying to blow up the Houses of Parliament. In the real world, we believe the moon landing's fake.
Mm-hmm. And that brings us on to the first one. We will talk about all the points that people have brought up to just kind of suggest that it's fake. And a lot of them have been... This is the thing. A lot of them have been debunked, but they've been debunked by NASA. And like, what are you going to say against NASA? You don't have like... So that's why I think people are really still going hard at it. Is like the people that were debunking it are the people you don't trust. So you're not going to trust them a second time, are you?
No, of course not. Like, they all believe, I rightfully so. I think I have no reason to not believe this, but they're pretty hyper focused generally on the fact that the head of NASA, or old head, I don't know if this is the current head. Hang on, I'll Google it just to be sure. But Werner von Braun, I don't know how to spell his name actually. Von Braun, there we are. So Werner von Braun, the head of NASA, was actually a Nazi rocket scientist. And I think he was quite good mates with like what's his face, Mendeley, who did all them nasty experiments on everyone. So if NASA's the people that are saying, it's fine, we did go to the moon, like as you said, they want us to believe that. B, how many of them would want to believe a Nazi scientist?
Yeah, that is
like.
That's true. I haven't actually seen that point. That's not even on one of my.
I'm bringing it up on the thing now. Werner Magnus Maximilian Frenier von Braun. He is in fact dead now. So, but I'm pretty sure he would have been head during like the moon landing and everything.
So, what is the reasoning behind him being involved and people not believing it then?
Operation Paperclip. So, I wonder if there'd be any mention of it in here. Do a bit of fucking, what's it called?
So just before we start, we should probably say if we believe or
Wiki hopping.
no, and then
Yeah, I'm
come
like,
to
frankly, I don't think they had the technology to fake it back then. It would have been a hell of a lot fucking easier to just go there.
that's quite interesting because I mean, surely it would be a lot harder to go to the moon than it would to film. But I mean, it, if you go into the specifics, to fake gravity would be quite.
Yeah, like
Oh.
the thing is, like, when you're when you set out to either go to the moon or fake the moon landing, with each of the options, you're gonna have the same fucking kind of development process in getting to the point where you can go there or you can fake it. So, for example, actually going there, they had to figure out the problem of like the Van Allen belts and shit like that, which I believe you may have as a point, perhaps.
Point.
Yep. Okay. So we'll get into that in a bit. So, they had to figure out ways to get through the Van Allen belt without dying or whatever. Whereas with faking it, you have to figure out how to simulate low gravity and like all that sort of stuff. And so you could say, for example, with a Van Allen belt, small metal plating for shielding. With faking it and trying to do the whole trying to fake it and everything, so you could maybe film underwater. Okay, now we have the problem. We need cameras that can film underwater. And you see what I mean? Every time you're going to have the same kind of process. Like, you have to solve a problem every time. So you may as well just go to the fucking moon and solve all of those problems rather than fuck about doing nothing, you know?
It is, but just saying just go to the moon is quite a big task as well.
Okay, well, all right, Jack. Then just fake the moon landing. Go. I know, facetious, but still.
In 2020, it'd probably be.
In 2020, yeah, you could fake it quite simply, yeah. Like, I can see why some flat earthers could try and say that, for example, Starman and everything was faked, but they're still being fucking narrow-minded, frankly. Like, because again, if you're gonna fake it, then that's a hell of a thing to animate in that kind of fucking resolution and that detail. Like, what kind of computer would you need to be able to fake those images with, like, to be fair, AI is getting really good, but still.
So, like, what would you think is the reasoning behind, say, if they did fake it?
Okay, so if they did fake it, obviously it's because, well, they wanted to beat the Russians, right? So,
it was a massive race to the moon.
Yeah, the space race. The Russians beat them to just about every other hurdle, I believe. Like, they had the first man in space, the first animals in space, first person in orbit, maybe even. So they were adamant to try and beat them because of the Cold War and everything like that. They needed that morale. And Nixon, well, obviously wasn't happy about all of his being seen as like a failure of a president, having failed to land on the moon before the Russians and all that shit. So, you know, so maybe he thought, fuck it, let's fake it. It's gotta be easier, right? I don't see it, you know, like.
No, I think they probably would have been other things. Like, another one I've got is funding. I mean, after so many failed attempts, like, people would start thinking, how much money have we invested in this and we haven't got there yet? Like, is it worth it for the meantime? Should we develop stuff beforehand? Like, because they just continuously sent up spacecrafts in, I'm not sure what period of time, but probably a shortest period of time, especially for the time that they were.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you could argue that they it's been a while since we sent anyone to the moon now. So you know that's like quite. Like we run out of funding. There it is.
Maybe. I mean, you say that, though, but they're planning for Mars. That's gonna be
Yeah, like what, 50 years later?
maybe, but
Or 100 years later since the moon landing, even.
it just seems a bit weird that we spend so much money and so much time trying to get there as many times as we did, get there once, and then be like, okay,
Well, they didn't just get there once. They landed there for the first time, then they went back a couple of times for various things. But
oh, actually, yeah, there's we should probably about touch on the news.
sure.
The news that come out recently. I don't know if you saw NASA release a statement saying about how there's much more water on the moon. So now it makes it a lot more feasible to probably set up a base.
Could sustain a lunar base. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. So how do you reckon that water's gone up there? Because I seen like reports of like the moon rusting and shit like that.
Yeah, we did talk about the moon rusting. Would suggest some sort of water-based substance, kind of.
Yeah, it's like it's picking up on the condensation from the Earth or some shit. Give it fucking another 1,000 years, we'll have a lush green moon, but
Well, that would be weird. Like imagining, we won't be here, but imagine in 100,000 years, you do look up and it's basically a little Earth. If we even could do that.
ooh,
Yeah, this is probably the most promising space project. I mean, would be big, but the moon would be a start. Just
yeah.
a thing
Like,
on there.
you can use the moon as like a launching off platform as well to
Yeah.
get rockets over there quicker.
That's what they were saying. It would be a lot less.
Like a gravity slingshot, I believe it's called.
Well, they said it would be a lot more economical, but in the sense that it
Save
would.
fuel.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, in terms of like the emissions that it would give off, it would be nil because I mean it's not on Earth, so that's good.
If anything, this brings me into a bit of Alex Jones that I seen on Joe Rogan the other day. Oh my god, that was a fucking hilarious episode. It was great. So this is going into climate change denial now. Alex Jones believes in the carbon fallacy or something like that, or the carbon conspiracy. So supposedly carbon dioxide is good because millions of years ago we had way more carbon in the atmosphere and we had dinosaurs and shit about. So what do you think about that?
Wait, say that again.
So you know how we're like freaking out because of global warming and CO2 in the air and shit like that, yeah? And CO2 is like greenhouse gas and it's insulating us and boiling us.
Yeah.
So Alex Jones reckons that carbon is good though, because like millions of years ago we had way higher levels of carbon. And it's funny because as I was watching that episode, my housemate come in, and he mentioned that he seen a news report recently that said that the last time we had this much carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, humans weren't around. So
why would that be?
I don't want to say that debunks Alex Jones's theory, but that's kind of what I was thinking in the first place.
The only thing that could live with these massive, gigantic fucking creatures.
Yeah, like actually going into that, he argued that like all the plants, all the flora and everything would have been way bigger because of all this carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and the plants sucking it up and being able to grow bigger. And he uses the point that like botanists often grow plants in rooms with higher levels of carbon dioxide to make them grow more.
Yeah.
So that's fine, but we survive on off oxygen though.
Yeah, that's not good for us.
No, not at all. Now, I will say,
Scary.
one thing that he mentioned that actually quite irked me with it, yeah. He was saying that because of all this carbon dioxide that we're pushing out, the plants are going to grow more and grow bigger and save us from the increasing carbon dioxide, and we'll be fine. And he said that Africa is going to grow back on its own. Actually, the reason that parts of Africa is growing back is because of reforestation, which is an attempt to save our asses from the burning down Amazon. We're trying to, like, re-greenify Africa and all the Sahara Desert and shit like that so that we can try and mitigate some of the effects of global warming. Now, he is right that the extra carbon in the atmosphere will help those plants grow quicker and save us quicker, in theory, but I think we're on a fine fucking line already. You know?
Yeah, let's
He didn't want to acknowledge the whole idea that, like, we humans are generally quite sensitive to temperature. Like, we can't have more than, what, a 1-2 degree internal body temperature change without...
38 degree, sorry, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, if you're American. 38 degrees, then you are ill. That's a 1 degree difference. It's mad. I thought about that the other day, obviously with COVID and temperature checking, like just 1 degree difference makes you,
Yeah.
be quite ill.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? So, that I don't feel like that, while that theory has a lot of, like, legit science to it, it's really looking over the big picture, I feel. Like, it's great in theory, but it's piecing all the wrong bits of information together. It's, like, really cherry picking itself, you know?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I see what you mean there. Yeah, there is that point, but I mean, it's bad. CO2 bad.
Like, it's not so much a conspiracy as a plan C, if you will.
I do like the idea, though, that as the carbon levels rise, the plants grow more to help us. I like the fact that obviously they're not doing it on purpose; they're just designed that way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Quite nice to think, oh look at these little guys, growing up and.
I will say, to be fair, there is evidence in the science to suggest that we overlook the utility of carbon dioxide in our bodies. Like, we generally think of it as a waste product, right? But in fact, I found this out from David Blaine, escape artist, magician, whatever. He's done... He held his breath underwater for over an hour, I believe.
Hour? Wow.
Yeah. I'll Google it now.
He does other crazy shit, like stays in a box for like 2 months or something like that. I don't think.
How long was David Blaine?
It's quite an hour. I think it's like 10 minutes.
7 days.
What? Under what?
Oh no, that's buried alive. That's buried alive. He's buried alive for 7 days.
Can you imagine being buried alive for 7 days?
17 minutes and 4 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think he's done longer outside of water. But yeah, that's insane, isn't it? So he really like looked into the science and everything of breathing and all that shit. And a good place to start with all of that is Wim Hof, if you've ever heard of that guy. He essentially does these breathing exercises that can help raise your internal body temperature and help fight off autoimmune diseases and shit. Autoimmune diseases isn't right. Fucking excuse me. I mean, to some extent, for some of them, I think. But like, it generally help fight off viruses and shit like that. Like he was able to fight off the E. coli virus just by doing his breathing exercises.
Right.
Not get sick, like.
Okay.
So, and he's had scientists do tests on him, like, for all of his stuff, and so that it's all like recorded and it's all legit, all really cool stuff. And he like he's hiked to the top of Everest barefoot in just shorts. He's stayed in like an ice bath for over an hour. He's dove underneath ice and swam for like 3 minutes before resurfacing. So I digress anyways. Like, supposedly the thing that makes us want to breathe, that like urge to breathe, it comes from, I think it's a deficit in carbon dioxide or something like that. So when we feel that kind of urge to breathe, our body like kicks into the reaction, because it's you know, how many times do you not breathe when you feel that, right? It's like second nature. So that comes from just like your body not sensing so much carbon dioxide in you. It's like, oh shit, we don't have any carbon dioxide to convert the oxygen over in metabolize it into our body or whatever. In like 20 minutes, this could be a problem. So that's why you get that urge to breathe. It's the same sort of thing with hunger. It's just a sort of hormone or some hormone response. When you eat, you kind of put yourself on a timer, if you will. So around about the same time the next day, you'll generally get hunger pangs, because your body's like, oh hey, have we eaten since yesterday at this time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've eaten by now.
Yeah. It's called Krelin. It's just a hormone, and that's why if you smoke weed, you generally get the munchies and shit like that. THC, I think, actually mimics the Krelin hormone response. It hits the same receptors, so that's why you get the munchies.
Hey.
So yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if we're kind of overlooking the utility of carbon dioxide in our bodies. Like it could play a much bigger part than we realize, you know? Even still, I think it's overlooking it a bit.
To do what David Blaine did, though, I mean, that must be unbelievable. Like
he's trained loads for that.
I can imagine, but like for him, probably 2 minutes of that is fine, maybe 3. Like
Wim Hof, with his breathing exercises, he'll get you up to 3 minutes holding your breath just with like 7 days of doing his technique.
But even say like 8 minutes. Let's say he's fine. But the next 9 minutes? Oh my god.
Yeah. Like you just gotta not think about it.
Like I wonder how that feels.
Like
other parts of or other senses of your body start kicking in. Like
I think he's done a couple of underwater things, so it's coming up with some of the older ones as well.
Yeah, he's done it a few times. A lot of times. He's crazy.
9 minutes. That was in 2020. But he said like once or twice he's actually like been in there all fine, and then someone pulls him out because they thought he was like making a signal or something like that. He's just like, why'd you take me out?
Film it.
Could have gone for another 10 minutes.
He must be thinking, oh, this could be my record. This is it. I'm gonna be David Blaine, and I am gonna do it. I'm gonna be the guy, and they pull you out.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He tried to spend 72 hours encased in ice. Oh, have you seen that? His Ascension thing. He actually had MKBHD do some of the filming for it, I think. So can you see it on the stream by there?
I can see it, yeah.
That's basically David Blaine. He's just holding on to lower balloons.
Yeah, but
he does have like an apparatus and everything to hold his arm there, so he doesn't get tired and he can keep grip. But
how many balloons? Like
I know, right? Just enough.
and they used so many balloons, and no, he was not floating. Like, what? That doesn't look like enough balloons at all.
I know, right?
Oh, so he's just holding. No, no, I don't even believe this.
Yeah, we'll have to look at after stream because copyright and shit.
There's no chance that he's doing that.
He's done it.
He's done. Yeah, but
He's done it.
Is it been released?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I'm not sure I've seen the actual thing, but I've seen like MKBHD's bits about it.
It's like the moon landings, mate. They're fake. Here we go.
MKBHD's a shill.
Oh, that is. No, I don't believe that. I can't.
You'll have to watch that yourself, mate.
Yeah, ever since that Brainiac episode where they couldn't get him to float. I mean, Brainiac wasn't the best scientific
No.
in the world, but it's brilliant.
Have a look into that, but it's pretty wild. Like, his latest appearance on Joe Rogan was chatting about it. He was like doing the whole promotional run. It's a few months ago, actually, to be honest. But yeah.
Right, where were we? We have really we've
Something you said had me spin into carbon conspiracy. We was some shit about the moon landing, wasn't it?
let's just go back to that.
Yeah, I'll give you free reins a sec before I throw us any further off the rails.
Yeah, so a reasoning, funding, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. But I think that's round about where we were.
The other reason I could really think for them faking the moon landings was to give people hope, something to look,
Yeah, morale.
and shit.
Yeah. Makes sense, like. So, I mean, that it makes a lot of sense because of the war and everything, the Cold War at the time. But what evidence have we got? What evidence you gonna throw at me for the moon landing being faked? But
Right, and I just want to say before I go through some of these, I don't believe it was fake. Like, part of me wants to say, like, how the fuck did they get to the moon in 1969? But
nice.
I want to believe it for the most part. Just for the, because I would just like to think that they could, and then we could. Okay, so we had the radiation in the Van Allen belts.
Yeah.
That's been debunked as they weren't there for a short amount of time, and the metal housing of the spacecraft would have just protected them. They weren't really in much danger. So another one, no crash site has ever been found.
For what?
Well, not crash site, landing site on the moon.
How do you mean never been found?
Well, it just isn't there apparently. Like, I don't know where they get the information that it isn't there. Like, how would they even know or be able
They
to?
probably looked really hard with their telescope.
Yeah. But
I've looked into this actually, and supposedly to be able to see the moon up that close enough to see the lunar module from Earth, you'd need a telescope. But I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was essentially, if you had a lens that big, it would have enough gravity to influence the Earth.
right.
Like a glass that dense would be able to would be manipulating Earth to the moon's gravity if you had a telescope with a lens big enough to see the moon like that.
Just things that we don't have, and that can just be debunked anyway, as less gravity on the moon, less thrusters needed. It's
So
soft landing, really.
I have a counterpoint to this. So we can't see the lunar module, but they did set up a reflector thing up on the moon.
They did.
So
you can in fact shoot a laser up at the moon, and if you have it at the right point, it'll deflect back and you'll get a confirmation signal. And that is like legitimate scientific confirmation that we have in fact been to the moon, because how else would we get the reflector thing back up there?
But then the conspiracy theorist would just say, well, that's what NASA's telling you. Who knows? Maybe it's a point on the moon that just reflects back. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Of course.
They would say. I mean, I'd take that as it is, personally.
Like, the thing is with shit like that is I can't argue back with you playing devil's advocate, because you don't know what the fuck they're thinking there.
Thing nobody knows, only they know.
Like I'd say something along the lines of, well, how does that make any sense? Like, what's up there reflecting it back, and why can't we just shoot at a random point on the moon and it reflect back? Why is it only that point at these times? And I can't imagine you know what they'd say there, would you? Do you?
No. Yeah, I don't think they would. They just move on. Or
Yeah, just cognitive dissonance.
Let's have a look. Okay, the one of the biggest ones, the flag. Of course, the flag. Everybody talks about the flag. Whenever this theory is brought up, the flag. It's there's no wind on the moon, but the flag seems to have movement as if there was.
Right. So you know how if you shake, like, if hang on, I need a example here. So, all right, see this bag, yeah? See if I shake it now. Like, it's just shaking from the momentum, right? So, if there's no gravity and little gravity and little atmosphere, they'd be able to pull the flag out, but any pressure momentum that they release onto that flag would then ripple throughout the flag and make it wave and shit like that.
Literally nothing to stop it from doing that.
Exactly. And I've seen people argue, like, how could it stay outright straight that well? Because they have a little metal wire across the top. Can you not see that?
You can see that there's like a pole running through the top.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't shake much at the top.
And they did say that.
Like they say shit like that, and I'm watching the video thinking like, oh, it looks like they're trying to make the fucking flag shake in the low gravity. Well, the way that they're fucking playing with, like, how could you think that that's? I don't get it.
Yeah. So yeah, and apparently another thing that was brought up was the way they put it in. They broke the flag or something, which made it act weirdly.
Yeah.
Which may have made it look a little more like it was on Earth, I guess.
Yeah.
Not wind, but
make it look sus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too convincing for me, frankly. All of that stuff. Like I've had have you ever talked to a moon landing faker?
No.
I've tried to like chat with one on Twitter before, try and figure out like where he was coming from and shit. And he kept sending me pictures like back and forth, and I was looking at them and just like genuinely considering this shit. And one of the things was like how the boot print is different to the bottom of the spacesuit, but then turns out that they actually have separate shoes that they zip up in a bag not to contaminate the inside with lunar dust. Like they have shoes, like separate bigger shoes with like big grips in it and everything. Like that's where you get the print from. Whereas the
the bottom of a spacesuit is actually like quite flat. It's got like little concentric circles and shit on it. So that's one that I normally hear being touted.
Moving on to another one.
Mm-hmm.
So we can kind of rule that out. I mean, if you can't see the pole and the flag, then that's your problem.
Yeah.
The moon landing is fake because you can't see the stars.
Okay, so
I'm gonna let you do this one because I know you will be more technical in what you say.
I'm gonna have to think about it a second because it's all to do with like how cameras work essentially. So if you were to go outside with your camera, right, and you light yourself up with a torch or something, you're filming yourself, you're not gonna see fuck all in the background at night anyway. Nothing at all. Does that mean the trees don't exist?
Mm.
Does that mean that the background don't exist?
Exactly.
Like, up in the sky, you won't see the stars either because the light that you have in the foreground is overexposing the entire image in the camera settings so that it can't pick up that relatively dim light from the background.
Exactly.
Not to mention, like, the issue of focus and stuff like that. So, the way that cameras work generally, like you got an ISO, so that if you look in the background, I'm not sure if I'm pressing the right buttons here, but if you look in the background, I've got quite a low I. I've got on 1.4 at the moment, so that makes the thing quite big, takes in a lot of light, gives this nice creamy background bokeh blur. If I spin this the other way, it'll darken the image because it's making the camera smaller, but you can also see in the background it's a lot clearer now. If I bring up the ISO again, you can see how it gets blurry. So the moon's very reflective, and that's where the majority of the light's coming from. So A, foreground light is overexposing the background, and B, whatever ISO settings that they have it on probably would have blurred out the background.
It's also reflected light from the Earth. But it's
exactly as well. Yeah, it's like,
you know,
it's similar to like when you have you try and take a picture of someone that's like standing in front of the sun. It just gives a big silhouette, don't it? Well, if we got the Earth blasting all that light at the moon as well, then it's gonna make everything else in the background go a lot darker, at least as far as the camera sees. Like, the astronauts probably had a much nicer picture of the sky, but the cameras just can't pick it up that well.
Like, if you have a camera on the moon and it's got this, and the sun's hitting it, and, you know, the moon is then lit, like, what's the camera going to focus on? The lit moon or a star that's like fucking millions of light years away?
Yeah, exactly.
It won't be able to do both.
Like, as far as the camera could tell, that star in the background is just a fucking artifact. Like, it's just a random flicker in the background from whatever settings are on the camera, like too high exposure or something like that. I forget what it's called. Either way. But yeah, like, it always makes me laugh when I see shit like that because, like, it's all really easily explained if you can just take a minute to learn about, like, cameras and light and stuff like that. It's all science. It's all literally science.
This can all be proven, you know, by yourself with the camera. It wouldn't take a lot, really.
Like, when you take those beautiful pictures of, like, the galaxies and everything like that out of the sky, of the night sky, yeah, you do that from Earth. You don't do it by taking like a single photo, half a second shot. Like, no, you put up. So with that, instead, you're messing with the exposure time. So at the moment, I've got it on 60. So that means that I should probably have it on about 120, really. No, wait, I'm filming 30, so 60 is fine. Normally go double the shutter speed to whatever frame rate you want. Because that makes the motion a fair bit
smoother, gives the blur less of a jarring look. If I put it up to 120, you'd be able to see like it's a fair bit sharper, like my hand as it's moving. And if I put it down, it blurs more. So
Yeah.
and as you can see, it's getting brighter as well. So what you do when you take these fancy ass shots of the night sky is you put the exposure way down. So you put the shutter speed even way down. So or up, I guess. So that like you're taking multiple second long shots of the sky, so you're just allowing all of that light to soak into the lens, which really like makes it overexposed to show the stars and everything.
Like if you go outside and look at the stars, at first you see, a good few stars, but then the more you look at it, the more your eyes adjust.
Yeah, like the cameras that they're using on like the satellites and stuff, they're probably at most at like 60 a 60 shutter speed. Maybe even like at 24 frames a second, so like 50. So especially way back then as well. So you're not going to be able to see all of that shit in the background because there's not enough time for the camera sensor to take in all of the light to be able to see it. Like it needs to be fixed there for a second and just not like it has to be fucking like this, even longer, more like fucking, though you won't be able to see me, to be fair, if I try and put it that high.
Yeah, you were looking pasty.
It won't let me go any lower than this when I'm in video mode, right? So that's as bright as you can get. You're not going to be able, this is like 4 frames a second essentially. You're not going to be able to see the stars or anything like that at 4 frames a second. It's not enough. No. You need 1 frame per 8 seconds roughly or something like that, depending where you are.
So we even had some, demonstrations from Joe there.
Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube so you can see all the video content.
Okay. So we're gonna pin that point.
Yep. That's
no,
debunked.
That's the most like easily proven point there. It just I don't know. It's just easy to kind of understand why you wouldn't be able to see stars when the thing that you're on is bright and is by far the brightest thing around you.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's really hard to like explain all of that to a total novice through an internet forum. Like they're not trying to listen to you, and to be able to type up a detailed yet concise enough explanation, like TLDR, they're not gonna bother. They'll get halfway through it. It's like, oh, he thinks he knows science.
Yeah, like that. Like,
science.
That's what kind of happens on Twitter arguments. They just kind of get
just kind of
people like
falls apart.
When you start, if like I don't actually have Twitter, but I've just seen like endless posts about people just getting angry. Like people.
Yeah, like I've made it a point now that I'd never randomly assault another like random person on the internet. I try my very best to be as uninsulting as possible in what I'm saying, like to at least to them. I try and like make it about the point at hand, and then as much as I can never have any kind of personal attacks. Like I'm autistic, so sometimes like I don't quite get the whole context of how what I said is insulting to them, but sorry.
But yeah, when it gets personal, you know, like
yeah, it gets too emotional.
It's like now we can't have a civil conversation about it. Bringing irrelevant stuff into it.
Yeah, like if you're gonna open up that whole explanation about cameras, for example, and how they work with no, you fucking idiot, then they're not gonna listen to you.
No.
They're gonna look at your thing and just either keep scrolling or ignore everything that you say and just start insulting you back.
Yeah.
Because like, who else? Who won't get defensive? And what kind of defense you have when you're looking up like all of this stuff and it turns out to be right? Like all this stuff is right in science, even though you don't. If you're a moon landing faker, you don't necessarily believe science. But point being, like, you're not gonna want to believe it because it's all conventional. So if you're looking up, well, even if they do stop to look up everything that you're saying, and it all makes sense to them, they're just gonna reject it because you insulted them out the gate. They're not gonna be they don't want to feel stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Like say, like if you was to raise like a valid point, then it feels like some people would just be like, well, I can't follow up on it, so now I'll attack.
Yeah. Like, you're just a government shill. Hope Soros is increasing your pay.
Fucking, yeah, sat there then in his fucking tinfoil hat in his bunker. You know.
Bryony still owes me a tinfoil hat, bitch.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that.
I know.
Ow.
And she owes me a box of chicken nuggets.
Nope, you ain't getting that either.
But yeah, so moon landing, I'm still not convinced.
No.
I don't know about you.
If we did go to the moon in 1969, why have we been back since?
Well, we haven't been back since because of loss of funding and life, I imagine. Like, there were a few rockets that went up that just blew up straight away.
Unfortunately.
Fucking kids watched them in school.
It's really bad.
Yeah, so, like, what's the point just going back and forth the moon for shits and giggles?
Mm.
Like, now we're starting to think about going back to set up an actual lunar base. So that's interesting.
Promising, yeah, very promising headlines from NASA saying that there's a lot more water than was first thought on the moon, and that could, be enough to have our own base up there, have our own water supply, and then be able to grow plants and shit.
Fucking A.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, so I have a counterpoint to this conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So, taking the space race into consideration, and even more so the Cold War, why didn't Russia debunk the moon landing if it was faked?
Yeah, that's quite a good point. That is, like, their biggest rival.
Yeah, this is what I want to know. Like, if they got an answer to that, I'll listen.
Maybe let's have a look.
Yeah, let's fucking Google why didn't Russia debunk the moon landing.
They would have had something to say about it, surely. Ooh, the Soviet response to the moon landing. Oh, we're
Denial. There was a moon race. Denial there was a moon race at all.
Oh.
So, no, they didn't.
Wow.
It's worse. They didn't even try and debunk it. They just refused to acknowledge that they were in any kind of race. It's like, oh, we weren't racing you to the moon.
That's bullshit. That's just because they lost. Oh,
Oh, you were in a one-nation race. We don't care you got to the moon first.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, if Russia weren't really kind of trying to get there first, then why the fuck was America trying to get there so fast? You know?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's the alternative conspiracy theory, right?
the Cold War and the One Nation space race was all a Russian ploy to drain American taxpayer funds and all that stuff. Put them into a panic and drain all their money.
Mm.
I mean, how much in debt is the U.S. now?
Oh man,
Couple 20 trillion in it.
how much is that is due to the attempts at landing on the moon?
I imagine they probably borrowed a fair bit of money for the moon landings.
I do find it crazy though that they were able to do that in 1969. It's mad. Like I do believe on it honestly, but like it just doesn't seem like we would have not only to take off and then leave the orbit, then plan a course where there's no fucking A or anything to really push yourself against. You just got to kind of work your way to the moon and then go, okay, now we got to land. Otherwise, we're going to crash hard and die.
Mm.
So then you got to kind of flip the whole, well, kind of break off, shoot the whole thing around, slowly kind of maneuver yourself down, then get it all set up so you can leave without depressurizing the fucking whole shit.
Mm.
Do what you got to do on the moon, get back in, take back off, even though you've dumped half of the ship during, just trying to get to the moon, and heading back to space, and then back to Earth. It's awesome, really.
It is. It really is. So, this whole discussion actually reminded me of another theory that an opposing conspiracy theory, if you will, that would debunk the moon landing hoax entirely with an even crazier hoax.
Oh God, yeah, go on.
So, the moon landing was actually a ploy to make us look far less advanced than we actually are. Like, oh, we're monkeys, we have to blast the moon on explosions. Apparently, after Roswell and shit like that, the military come into access with anti-gravity machines and anti-gravity technology, and they first tested it. I don't remember where exactly I read this or watched it. Somewhere on YouTube. I'm sure somewhere you could find it if you just Google enough. But so when the very first interplanetary spaceship, if you will, was apparently a submarine fitted with one of these anti-gravity devices because they were already all airtight and sealed and everything.
All right, yeah.
So apparently before the moon landing, they flew a sub to the moon and to Venus and around the sun and back to Earth.
I mean, where is this coming from?
I want to say Stephen Greer is the guy that made the movie that talks about it. I'll see if I can find something on him now.
And why would we?
Greer.
Is it just a public thing? We just don't want the common man to know that we are more advanced. And then why?
So it all kind of links in somewhat with Bob Lazar's stuff. Like supposedly he was reverse engineering that stuff, wasn't he? Like anti-gravity technology and shit like that. Yeah. Stephen Greer takes a lot of the same concepts and goes like another fucking 100 light years or so. I wonder if yeah, there's all YouTube videos, but the title of this one just got me. This footage will awaken the population.
Okay. Is it footage of this sub doing all these things?
No. There's illustrations.
Oh, okay, drawings. Okay.
Yeah. Like, not even that. It looks like clip art. But this is in like a feature-length documentary.
I can't find the documentary, but it's one of this guy's films, Stephen M. Greer.
Yeah, so
might be Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. That might be the movie.
why would
Or
we?
maybe Unacknowledged is one of those two, because he's in both of those. Maybe The Day Before Disclosure. I don't know. I've watched. There is an absolute fucking gold mine of crappy alien films on Amazon, man. It's great. Honestly, look at all these. Look at these.
Oh.
Unacknowledged, Close Encounters, Above Majestic, E.T.'s Among Us 2, Alien Contactee,
Yeah, somehow I'd
Fifth Kind, First Contact, I Know What I Saw. That's actually quite a good one. That's where was that?
you probably do not know what you saw.
My dad actually has a similar story to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, supposedly these like lights in this kind of triangle formation just kept passing over this town in America. I think it might have been Pennsylvania, I want to say. Or Ohio. Colorado. Yeah, I'm 90% sure it's Colorado, actually.
Right.
Was it the Colorado fucking... I feel like that's not it, because it would have come up with a search. I forget where the hell it was.
I feel like I've heard of it.
But yeah, this is actually quite a big one, actually. Like, it's a massively documented... Arizona, it flew, like, all the way through Arizona on a few occasions. So that's some footage by there. I don't know if you can see it, like, off in this corner. But those three lights, the way they were then, supposedly they were all moving uniform and at stupid kind of angles and shit like that. And some people could see between, like, the lights. Some people could see, like, some sort of blackout between it or something blocking the sky above them between the lights. My dad has a similar story to those lights, where he was driving home one night, sees him up in the sky. He his car's electronics starts going all funky. He gets out and looks up at these lights and everything, and then they just fucking zoom out into the background, make this big black bright flash in the sky, and just disappear entirely in like the weirdest direction. It's not as if he sees them fly off over the horizon. They fade out. So he gets back in his car, and the clock is set like 3 hours later, and he gets back in, and it genuinely is like three hours later, like stupid o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so that's interesting. Like, I've recently asked him about that as well, and he's steadfast in the story. So interesting.
I don't want to open a massive can of worms here, because we do have another. But do you believe in aliens? Do you believe aliens have visited Earth? It's probably.
That is a much better question. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we've made first contact and it's being kept from us. But at the same time, I don't know if we'd be as naive as we are if that were true.
Yeah.
Sometime in the past, I wouldn't be surprised if they come down and gave us a hand and shit like that. Like, the amount of previous civilizations that.
Did you want to hand for that pyramid? Back you go.
Legit though, how many other previous civilizations have had like claims of contact with extraterrestrial style life forms, like something that they've described as not of this earth, that have given them like guidance or technology or knowledge or something to help them through?
how many just about every single one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be naive to say it is naive to say that there aren't aliens, and I think it would be naive to say that they haven't visited at least some point in the past. Whether it's within the collective human memory or not, I don't know, but it doesn't seem that way. What about you?
I believe they may have visited. I don't see much reason for them hanging around though.
No, yeah, there is no reason to hang around. That's why all the civilizations describe them as coming down, giving us a cheeky hand, and leaving.
Would they risk it though? Would they come down and give a hand? What if we just killed them?
Well, I would assume that if they could come to our planet in an instant and look down and see what everyone's up to and figure out what if they have the technology to get here, they probably have the technology to find out if they could get fucked up by us. That's probably one of the reasons why we haven't been attacked by aliens at the very least. Like, if they have the tech to get here, they have the tech to know whether or not they should fuck with us.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, you can kill someone with your bare hands.
Yeah, but they're not coming in their bare hands.
No, I know, but if they're in a massive, if these come down, it's going to draw attention, and there's going to be a lot of people. Like, they can't have eyes on everyone, I guess.
Like, if they're gonna visit, like if I was an alien coming to visit, I would like pop over, rack up for say 5-10 years, just watch the planet, see what happens, see what comes and goes.
Yeah.
And like from there you'd be able to tell like if they ever leave the planet, if they're that advanced, and then at that point you probably don't have much to worry about if you're heading down.
But still, I just think they would come down for a cheeky scan, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of claims of like aliens interfering with rockets going out to space and shit like that. Like, supposedly we've never been able to get a nuclear missile out of orbit because it just gets blown up.
Ooh, yeah.
Mysteriously.
And is that...
So, yeah, that's an interesting one, you know?
There's a theory as well that we could just be the property of some...
Yeah, we're just intergalactic cattle.
Yeah, which is a farm.
Honestly, that's probably the theory I give most credence to. Like, that's most likely. I mean, it would make sense. Think about how many religions we have about a benevolent creator that comes from above. That basically created our entire existence and looks after us and will keep an eye on us, and he's come down to save us once before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like a lazy farmhand.
And then you just turn water into wine, you know, who knows what kind of technology these aliens have.
That's some pretty sick science.
Yeah, defo. Damn, you've really got me thinking about that. God is a fucking alien, and Jesus is another fucking alien. Going about their day, just they get back to their ship. They're like, "You see their fucking face?"
we're the Florida of space, but
yeah, basically, it would like we're just a sketch show for them. Like they are just like filming our reaction to shit. They probably think our humor is dumb.
Yeah. hey, do you want to pop over Earth, see the orange guy shout at some people for a while?
Just go watch them laughing at people, laughing at humans, laughing at poop, like kind of.
It's like, but anyone that would discredit that theory has forgotten that Gogglebox exists.
Oh yeah, we already have humans watching humans.
Watching humans.
Watching humans. Oh shit! Yeah. Oh my god.
I think about Twitch as well. watching a guy play a game, and then watch parties, watching a guy watch a film.
Yeah, and then if someone's watching this, someone's watching us talk about people watching people.
Well, anyway, I for one welcome our new alien overlords, and I hope they've enjoyed this episode of the Space Cast.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if you are watching Aliens, we would like to be the first podcast to invite you on as a guest.
If we can be the first legitimate space cast, then I'd be honored. I just want to say, I'd be happy to host you, and we can go over questions that you'd prefer. You can have copy approval and all that sort of stuff.
Well, basically.
It will be your messages.
Just come and crash at Joe's. It's fine.
We got COVID and everything, but I'm sure they would notice.
Just watch out for that. Yeah, we'll get tested for you.
Might have to hide you in the attic, like.
Yeah. Hide you in a basket, ride around on a bike. Yeah.
Oh, Halloween costume sorted.
Oh my. Brilliant. Yeah, aliens though.
So I love talking about aliens.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Space is like one of my favorite subjects, but
because
honestly,
the possibilities are literally endless.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you
No,
never know
nothing.
what could be up. Exactly. There's so much unanswered questions. Like, there's so much to speculate about. It's fun as hell. But moving on from that, I think. So somewhere, yeah. So the whole advanced technology, aliens handing it down to us, like hidden, more advanced technologies and shit like that. That brings us quite nicely into QAnon. And honestly, I watched a few videos around it, and I watched videos of QAnon supporters trying to get a handle on what exactly they believe in, and honestly, it's like the best. Like, I've heard people describe it as an ARG, an what's it called? Alternate reality game. So
Yeah, yes, seen videos of this.
Yeah, that's probably the best kind of summary of it that I've heard that I could even think of myself, because it is so batshit. Like, so if I bring up a few things here, let's see, what have we got? So let's bring up. Yeah, this is a good start. So, The Verge has reported that as a result of all of these theories getting banned, some of the channels are actually suing YouTube over the anti-QAnon moderation push, which is something I never expected would happen until last week, when I discovered that there are in fact people, believers of QAnon, running for Congress.
Okay. Do you want to just before you go on, just give a little kind of description of QAnon and.
Honestly, I was hoping this article might help me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But oh god, what is this?
What is that? What kind of...
Oh, this is like the legal document, I guess, that they put into the courts.
Somebody had to type that up. Jeez.
Yeah. In this lawsuit, we request for an emergency injunction addresses YouTube October 5th, 2020 purge of accounts in which YouTube abruptly deleted conservative content from its platform and terminated the accounts and channels that hosted the content. YouTube's massive deplatforming, which occurred just 3 weeks before the 2020 presidential campaign.
Right.
I bet this is what's going to get Trump reelected.
because it's like, well, now they have credence to their theory. Like, oh, they tried to silence them around the election time. If we must be right. So blah blah blah. They're butthurt because YouTube tried to cut down on conspiracy bullshit. And they just tried to say that it was anti-conservative. So QAnon, as far as I can tell, is essentially the grand unification theory of chaos theories, of conspiracy theories. So this takes everything from moon landing hoax to advanced technologies to MK Ultra to 9/11 to Project Paperclip, and then it injects all of those theories with steroids, and just speculates a load of other shit out the ass that I can never find any backing for, no matter how or where I look. And then decides to stare at Donald Trump's tweets and this message board with this user QAnon posts these really cryptic messages, and it tries to decode things from Donald Trump's tweets, almost using the QAnon post as a code. And it's all like fucking numerology and number theory. Like, for example, 7 is a divine number, so they try and like figure some meaning from that. Like maybe he's talking about the rapture or some shit. I don't know.
Just really clutching at straws.
Yeah, really. To the point, this one video I watched, the guy, you've probably seen this guy about, to be fair. I don't know what his name is to bring it up or anything, but he's got this, he's got these blue eyes and this kind of blonde curtained hair, and he looks, it's really balding at this point. I wonder if the QAnon theories are really getting to him.
Yeah, looks like the kind
but
of
this
person
guy, I watched a video on him, and it was hyper delusional. Like, I can't remember what exactly it was, but Trump tweeted about something, or he wore a tie of something that referenced something that he had said in one of his videos, and he took that to mean like, it's Trump knows about him, and it's like a nod to him and all that sort of stuff. And he basically talks to Trump in these and QAnon through his videos. And like it was weird watching it, because at some points I was laughing, and then I felt really bad for laughing, because I'd look at him and think like, oh, this is a human. Like, this poor guy, he's getting worked up over all this bullshit, like
pure devotion to something.
And the worst of it is, like, where the fuck did all of this come from?
Yeah.
So it like, QAnon started with this QAnon user on 8chan, I believe.
Wait, 8chan's a...
Yeah, 8chan, 4chan, 7chan. There's a chan for every number, I think.
I don't really know much about even 4chan, so that's news to me.
8chan apparently was one of the internet's premier places for child pornography content. So that's the caliber, that's the kind of level that most people would hold QAnon to. Which is really ironic, because I'm sure you've seen the Save the Children hashtag floating about.
Yeah.
That's heavily linked to QAnon. Right. Which is really worrying, because obviously with Epstein and everything, like, that's probably part of the reason why
1 in 4 people in Britain believe the QAnon conspiracy theories. But yeah, it's really ironic because the whole Save the Children hashtag and all this stuff, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, they're heavy into anti-child pornography shit, but then 4chan, 8chan even. And of course, just because QAnon posts there or posted there does not mean necessarily that he's like related to all of that stuff or has any relation to it, but you know, like it's the backwater of the internet, you know.
You always have that in the back that it was posted on a site that doesn't necessarily mean it had anything to do with it, but it's there. It's always in your mind.
Yeah, like if that's where it's coming from, like how much can you really trust it?
Yeah.
Like why would you choose to post important shit somewhere like there? Like if anything, you could argue like sure maybe makes you less noticeable to authorities, but then also surely it'd be monitored heavily by authorities because of
like
you know.
I that's the thing. Like, how do these things kind of be when, like, if a random person can use it and is known to have this kind of thing going on? Like, why isn't there more monitoring, or is there a lot more?
Well, that's part of 4chan and 8chan's whole shtick is that they're supposed to be heavily in support of like freedom of speech and stuff like that, and against censorship.
Right.
So it's basic. For the most part, unmoderated. Because the moderators have low standards, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are moderators, but they're just very edgy. I mean, obviously, like, that's not to say that this place is just, like, an absolute shithouse backwater of the internet kind of thing. Like, I'm sure there's some actual useful stuff on there to some people. As far as I can tell, it's structured sort of like Reddit in that there's subcategories of everything, like there's a political sub-channel and and like card sub-channel and stuff like that. So
so just your kind of everyday
it's essentially a super edgy Reddit almost. Like to put it in like layman's terms. And
is there a chan that's worse than other chans?
I mean, 4chan's the most well known one. I don't think any of them are really inherently worse than the others. Unless you're like specifically looking at the kind of content that was hosted there.
Why do you need...
I haven't looked into all of them too much, you know.
Why do you need more than one though?
I guess it was just made by different people. Maybe it was made because it might I might be wrong, but I feel like the extra ones were made in case they got taken down.
Okay.
Like or backup sort of thing.
Well, you could also see like the kind of reasoning in that if they made 4chan and made it the most recognizable, if they made more, then 4chan would take the light off of the lesser known ones. I'd never even known. I heard of 4chan, but I'd never heard of it.
Yeah. Everyone's heard of the hacker known as 4chan. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like the news calling 4chan a hacker. Like as if they couldn't make it any clearer that they didn't have a clue how computers work at all, or the internet in general.
And that it's just an entity that's just hacking stuff.
Yeah. 4chan is a hacker and he has a website.
He'll hack you.
We'll get 4chan on you. I'm good mates with him.
So what is that? FOR? Is it the first name Chan Chan.
Like, this whole thing's starting to give me a headache already. So yeah, this whole QAnon thing seems to be kind of stringing together as many conspiracy theories as they can, and essentially is making Donald Trump the man on the inside for them. He's the knight in shining armor. Q brought him into the White House because Q is an individual within the White House that has close ties to Donald Trump. Again, like, I just want to reiterate here that this is all so strung together that I'm pretty sure if you got 5 different QAnon believers in the same room, they'd all give you different stories about the whole thing. So, like, where I'm saying conflicting information and conflicting points and stuff like that, this is all things that I've heard from them, even in the same thread sometimes. So, for example, just then I said how I forget what that point was. But like, oh yeah, so that Q was someone that brought Donald Trump in, and he is also someone that's already in the White House and is just closely tied to Donald Trump. Those are both points that they believe in separate instances between person to person.
So what's the goal?
To drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp.
Yeah, so and take down the elite pedophile ring that's in the government, headed by like Hillary Clinton and the likes, and the Clinton Foundation and George Soros, and the liberal left-wing media and their like censorship and how they're trying to steal our guns and shit like that. So Trump is basically there to save everyone from the liberal tyranny, essentially, as far as I can tell. So this whole thing, as far as I can remember, it got birthed out of it was birthed around about the same time as Donald Trump was getting indicted and going through like the whole boot him out process. What's that called? You know, where they were trying to kick him out as president. So while that was all going on, that's around about the time I started seeing all of this pop up. And majority of what I seen from it was from the Donald Trump subreddit, the Donald, on Reddit, which is now no longer exists. It was banned because it was just too toxic. It was bleeding out to every other subreddit, and it was a mess, man. They even made a subreddit, Ask the Donald, where they'd try and like talk to his supporters, try and figure out what the fuck they're on about. And a couple of times, I think there's been a couple attempts at that, and most times it's collapsed into chaos, and sometimes even become like a new The Donald.
Ugh. Yeah,
But
I can imagine.
It's a toxic cesspit. Like, you'd see them argue amongst themselves all the fucking time because they didn't have the exact right nuances of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there was a weird level of this blind compliance as well. Like, you just had to have absolute, like Christianity almost. You just had to have that absolute blind faith to it, and you can't disbelieve in it at all. Otherwise, you're Soros shill.
Love it. Devotion, dedication.
Yeah, it's honestly just wild. So there's been a few other extra things birthed out of it, like extra bits of conspiracy theories. So for one, election meddling. They seem to think that
Trump is Trump's having or rather the election's going to be meddled with through postal votes and stuff like that, and
Yes.
that's why
Seen a lot of
Trump
this.
is like shouting about it all the time.
Yeah.
So there was something about like the post office and shit. Oh, and one that you may know of that links to Save the Children, actually, Pizzagate. That was birthed out of
Yeah.
QAnon and
I did see a lot about
McDonald's and
Pizzagate.
all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just a little thing about the postal vote. Like, how many hands is that going to be passed to till it finally gets in the fucking ballot box? Like, I just want to. I want to put my vote in the box.
yeah, like
I'm not saying that it is all corrupt and it actually happens, because there's no proof of it. We kind of believe that everything's kind of legit and stuff, and whatever. But like, I don't want to put it in a post box for the postman to give it to someone, for that person to give it to someone, and then that person to put it in my ballot box.
I know what you mean. Honestly, I think that would probably be the safest way of doing it, because it'd be harder to track who voted what, like what the votes were, because you'd have to tamper with them to figure out.
But I guess that's why it'd be, rather than me just put it in the box. I know someone could still grab the box and do what they wanted with it, but
I remember there was so much of that around the 2016 election.
Yeah, because people were just in disbelief.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and it seemed like the majority way. So it's just kind of like, well, who the fuck voted this way?
Yeah.
That happened with a good few recent elections, or referendums, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You seen it?
Yeah.
So this is a new one.
Oh,
I just discovered this one today.
Okay.
So this links into the advanced technology bullshit, and Project Paperclip, I imagine, because supposedly the Nazis were working on time travel technology and stuff like that, as I'm sure you're aware.
I have. Yeah.
So obviously, because of Project Paperclip, we got all of the Nazis' advanced tech and their time travel and everything. I say we as if we're Americans, but So, personally, I've never heard of John Titor. And if he is a time traveler from 2036, why didn't he go to Stephen Hawking's party for time travelers? He would have known about it.
This guy's meant to be from 2036 or went to 2036?
Donald Trump inauguration, John Titor, time traveler from 2036, about to become president. By Alex Hickson? Oh, this is 2017. Updated 2019. Legendary time traveler John Titor.
Yes, I've seen that photo.
Have you? Okay.
Have you seen the photo?
I don't think so. Is about to get the key to the White House and become president of the United States, a bizarre theory has claimed. So, what's this now? Which photo?
Let me send you this photo over Discord.
Sure thing. So, many are convinced that a man called John Titor has time traveled from the year 2036 to the year 2000 to warn people of an impending nuclear war at the hands of ISIS. So, appearing only in online forums 16 years ago, no one knew the identity of the man. But I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. Apparently, it seems... Jack? Oh, he's jumped into the other Discord. You hopped into the other Discord, and your camera's gone. What?
Technical difficulties.
Okay, so here's the photo.
There's the photo.
Oh yeah, he does look like in an incredibly. I have seen this photo. He looks incredibly modern for like the time, doesn't he?
He does. He doesn't look like he belongs there.
Like it's the sunglasses more than anything, I think.
Mm. But then, in like this day and age, like, how can you have any faith for any proof in any photo?
What was that photo from? Like, what's the origin of that photo?
I have no idea. I just typed in John Titor, and that was.
Okay, so
Come up,
I'm gonna skip ahead through this article, because I kind of see where it's going. So it seems that QAnon theorists are convinced that Donald Trump is John Tritter, because and I'm gonna expand on this and think that they either think Donald Trump is John Tritter or QAnon.
Oh wait,
is
did you
John
say Tritter?
Tritter, Titon.
Yeah. What? O-N?
O-R.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that is in then. Okay.
I can't spell.
Sorry, I pulled up the wrong image and I was like, well, that's always irrelevant. No, yep, okay.
So-
I'm trying to compare likeness at the moment. I mean, he's got black hair for a start.
Well, it's a black and white photo, so you can't say for sure.
I know, but it looks dark,
does look
doesn't it?
like that.
He
And
doesn't look like blonde hair.
if I'm gonna hold that photo up and compare, I mean, it's a similar kind of rag, I guess. But then, how does that explain like the fact that Donald Trump very clearly has a biological father in the year 2000?
Yeah, that's
Like-
true. And it just doesn't look like him. It doesn't look
Like
him at
what?
all.
A wild new conspiracy theory has claimed Donald Trump is a time traveler, here pictured with his father.
God. I mean, I need to see this. Wait, what?
So
Why is this John Travolta? Is that Donald Trump there?
yeah, Donald Trump and his dad.
So why does that prove he's a time traveler?
It
Or is that-
doesn't. It's
Oh,
just a photo they grabbed. But see, if that's his dad there, and we know he's got a dad, and his dad's old. Like, how could Donald Trump be John Tritter and have like a billionaire father or millionaire father? Like, how would that work? You know?
Yeah.
Like, how's that gonna work
why
out?
didn't
Like,
he
'cause
just-
it's not as if he's gonna say he's a time traveler and then Fred Trump's just gonna give him a fuckload of money for free. You know?
Yeah. That's bullshit, isn't it? To be honest, that's Donald Trump. No.
Legend
Time travel,
tellers
no.
suggest that Donald Trump's uncle John George Trump, who was a well-known scientist and inventor, oversaw examination of famous engineer Nikola Tesla's notes after his death. Serbian-born Tesla moved to the US in 1891 and was famed for his reputation as a mad scientist. He was known in his later years for exploring theoretical subjects and even made very, very early pronouncements into the possibility of wireless connectivity. And in fact, he was right. We have technology that can wirelessly charge phones today using the exact same specifications and blueprint design kind of concept, whatever, as what Tesla had explained back in the day. Essentially, you have two, like we do now, we have two coils that go close to each other and the electricity transfers through the coils over the air. Tesla theorized that by resonating two separate coils over a distance at the same frequency, you would be able to transfer that energy over the air using like the resonation as a kind of guide. Essentially, hooking radio to it almost it is the best analogy I can think of.
Right.
Like you tune it into a certain frequency. So
we have technology today that works on the exact same concept. Not as powerful as Tesla did or imagined, allegedly did or imagined, but it's real, true technology that was actually genuinely suppressed.
Mm.
So, honestly, I fucking love Tesla. He's such an interesting guy. So maybe I'm a little biased, but honestly, that you can look me up on that. I 100% like, it's the same concept. So he looked into fantastic theories such as free energy, using like resonation, the ionosphere, and essentially, so he theorized that because the Earth's like flying through, has this magnetic field to bat off like radiation and everything, he theorized that the ionosphere would have this constantly topped up vat of energy that we could just draw from with these like resonating wireless technologies, which frankly kind of makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've like watched and read a lot more into it. Obviously, like surface level, it sounds a little wild.
Yeah.
But once you get your head around like, the technology does exist today, and like just the general theory of it all, it does make a lot of sense. Maybe I'm a crackpot, but honestly, it's worth looking into that stuff. Anti-gravity. So Bob Lazar has kind of, maybe changed our minds on anti-gravity and stuff like that, hasn't he?
Mm.
Invisibility. I haven't heard much on that. And most importantly, time travel. I'm not sure I've ever read into his invisibility, anti-gravity, or time travel stuff, but I know about the free energy shit.
Mm.
John George Trump there. ISIS causing a nuclear war there. After Tesla died in 1943, the National Defense Research Committee on MIT, Professor George John Trump was asked to look into the work in case there was any military application. He spent 3 days by himself looking into the notes before concluding there's nothing of significance. Oh, there we go. Case closed.
Just like that.
His report read, Tesla's thoughts and effort during at least the past 15 years were primarily of a speculative, philosophical, and somewhat promotional character. Conspiracy theorists claim Trump found theoretical designs for a time-traveling machine. Fun fact, you can actually look at all of Tesla's patents on Google. There's some interesting stuff on there too. Trump spent a lot of time with his nephew before he died in 1985. That being John G. Trump with Donald. He regularly brought up Uncle John and references warnings of nuclear weapons and the damage they may cause. I mean, he would have seen the damage of nuclear weapons, would he not, having lived through the war? So I don't know how that's a point to it. He said cryptically, my uncle used to tell me about nuclear before nuclear was nuclear.
Okay.
Doubt?
Doubt, yeah. I'm pressing X.
He would tell me there are things that are happening that could be potentially so bad for the world in terms of weaponry. Well, I imagine if he was a top scientist, surely he would have known about nuclear before nuclear was nuclear, if you will. So he would have been there at the talks and speculations of it.
Pressing X. To doubt.
Trump told the Times that his uncle would tell me many years ago about the power of weapons someday. The destructive force of these weapons could be so massive that it's going to be a scary world. Well, why does he joke about pushing the big red
I
button,
know.
Rocket Man?
The guy who's apparently seen it all and sees the
And
devastation.
and wants to like avoid nuclear war and everything, and avoid these devastating bombs that his uncle warned him about before they even existed, is egging the North Korean governor to push the button, little Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Like, there's some cognitive dissonance there.
Like, they're trying to paint Trump as a completely different character to what he is.
Yeah, I know.
They're trying to paint him as like some guy who actually cares about the world.
It's grasping at the thinnest straws I've ever seen.
Like, all he's saying is, I've seen the devastation. He's not saying that he's scared of it or anything. He's just, I've seen it. You might like it.
I hate nuclear more than any. My uncle was a professor at MIT. He used to tell me about nuclear. Well, yeah, that kind of settles it then. If he was a professor at IMT, he would have known about that shit before everyone else, surely. Can I be honest with you? It's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen anyway. It's only a question of time. Go on then. Like, why is it cut off the quote there?
Because you got fuck all else to say, Joe.
To be fair, he does end a lot of sentences like that. Despite all John Trump's scientific contributions, including methods for curing cancer, Donald appears to mostly speak about his uncle's warnings of nuclear war. Many have cited John Trump's foresight as proof that he might have seen John Tritter's future ravaged by nuclear war and government corruption.
You keep cutting off just ever so slightly every now and then.
Many have cited John Trump's foresight as proof that he might have seen John Tritter's future ravaged by nuclear war and government corruption. Donald Trump is also well known for occasionally using pseudonyms such as John Miller and John Barron, using his middle as a first name. But according to theory, his third and less well-known identity was John Triter. Oh, it's Titer, not Triter.
Yeah.
You
got it.
Okay. So apparently Trump used to go by the pseudonym John Titer.
Says who? Says him. I'm also pressing X down.
X down. In 2000, an online forum came alive with the story of John Titer, who claimed to be a soldier from 2036. It's only 16 years. He lived in a world destroyed by war and government corruption. I mean,
Okay. Could see that.
I mean, honestly, I'm not that doubtful of that.
No.
2036. I mean, we're halfway there as is. Legend goes that after John Trump had mastered time travel, Donald journeyed to the future under the name Titer. Okay.
One does not master time travel.
This is John Titer's sign, which he shared via the online forum. Okay. So if I reverse...
So is this
Google
a time
search
travel?
this, does come back as a John Titer thing. Predictions regarding calamitous events in 2004 and beyond, none of which came true.
There we go.
Let's have a look at some of these after I finish jumping through here. So we're using time travel, master fortune, blah blah blah. I mean, if he was a time traveler, surely he could have avoided going bankrupt so many times, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many things that he's been brought up on as well. It's like, well, why didn't you not do those things?
Oh, of course, some bits on 4chan. So is that where the John Titer stuff come from?
Yeah.
Or is that to do with... I'll have to read that in a second.
Perhaps I should let you all in a little secret. No one likes you in the future. This time period is looked at as being full of lazy, self-centered, civilly ignorant sheep. Okay, so that's John Triter to us, I guess, or the people of 2001.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the consensus that we get of everyone 1995 onwards. Or
True
just,
that.
you know, the general world thing from 1995 onwards, at least. So let's see. Similar flair for insults. Our leaders are stupid and they are stupid people. Of course. After Nikola Tesla's death, the FBI ordered So this is an excerpt from that 4chan post. After Nikola Tesla's death, the FBI ordered the alien property custodian to seize Tesla's belongings, even though Tesla was an American citizen. The National Defense Research Committee called an MIT professor makes sense of the notes. John Trump, we've gone through all of this. I swear the article just like copied some of this verbatim.
Pure evidence.
Although John Trump thought that Tesla's time machine was plausible, it was not possible to create using the technology existing during his time. John Trump later died in 1985, but not before leaving Tesla's notes and the implications to the protection of his beloved nephew, Donald. Around the same time period, Trump was known to use pseudonyms, as we mentioned. Trump as Titer traveled to the future. So we're missing a bit where the time machine actually got built with technology that was, you know, good enough. Like, when did we get to that point and who built it?
That's where they suffer because it didn't actually happen. So they missed that bit out.
So he traveled to the future, assumed the identity of a soldier. Of course, they want Trump to have been a soldier because he had bone spurs and didn't fight in Vietnam. Not that I think anyone should have fought in Vietnam, but that's a different conspiracy that's been proven true. John Titer, let's see. So, travel to the future under the identity, we discovered that America and the entire world have become a nuclear dystopia caused by radical Islamic terror. Okay, John Titer began posting to several forums 2001, speaking of events that happened in the timeline he had witnessed. He spoke of terrible events that would occur from the early 2000s through 2012. He could not name the radical Islamic terror at the time, or the timeline may be unavoidable. He had to be extremely cautious and analyze the near infinite temporal variables and possibilities before making his move. Okay. Trump traveled time, amassed a fortune, and making subtle changes which helped him delay the future he saw for as long as he could. But that future is now coming. Trump knew that the only way he could have enough influence to prevent this future totally were to become president of the United States. So I feel like this is just tying up the last load of loose ends of the QAnon dumpster fire. So this is why Donald Trump is the savior of everyone, and that's why he become president. So that's what QAnon's on about.
But he hasn't done much saving yet. Where's he gonna start?
Oh,
he's getting on.
Well, you got fucking indicted and everything, like the witch hunt. Ah!
Yeah, but I mean, the witch hunt ended, and he was fucking let to continue being president. So when's he gonna fucking start doing his shit?
Yeah.
74, like, don't want to leave it too long.
Like he, I know he brought back a load of industrial era jobs, like coal and all that kind of manufacturing stuff.
Right.
And it's like, honestly, as much as people rely on a lot of those jobs, it's mostly virtue signaling because it's just going to be undone by the next president after him. And he cites clean coal the same as Alex Jones with the whole carbon conspiracy thing, which we've already gone into.
Yeah.
Like, in theory, I have seen that there are ways to make coal a lot more efficient and release less CO2, but it's a process, and it's never like 100%. Like, clean coal, generally, as far as I can tell, is a myth from what I've looked into. Because you're always going to be producing some CO2.
Yeah, it's literally the burning of something, you know?
Yeah.
There's no green to that.
No, not really. Like, just because there's less toxins in there, because there's less, I don't know, fucking lead in the air that comes out, doesn't mean that it's automatically safe. Doesn't mean that it's automatically good long term.
No.
But, okay, so I feel like we've kind of tied together QAnon quite well, actually, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. What's this now? More about John Titor, even.
Tighter. Yeah.
So let's have a look at some of his stuff, shall we? I had to... let's see. John Titor in a fax to Art Bell, read on Coast to Coast on July 29th, 1998, condensed. So Art Bell was host of the late-night paranormal-themed radio show Coast to Coast AM, which attracted eccentrics from all over the country, pushing tales of alien abduction, freaky physics, and more.
Love it.
So naturally, this is where Donald Trump would call in to give his totally serious theories or facts about the future Earth.
Yeah.
I had to fax when I heard other time travelers calling in from any time past the year 2500 AD. Please let me explain. Time travel was invented in 2034. Wait.
Off a little
Well, that
again, then.
doesn't that already fuck with the timeline? 50. How old is Donald?
74, I believe. I will pull that up.
74. So he would be 90 when time travel's invented. Then he'd be 90. How would he be able to go back and amass his fortune? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll quite add up to it.
Okay, so time travel was invented in 2034. Offshoots of certain successful fusion reactor research allowed scientists at CERN to produce the world's first contained singularity engine. The basic design involves rotating singularities in a magnetic field. By altering the speed and direction of rotation, you can travel both forward and backwards in time. Weirdly, it's kind of... It's like almost giving kind of quantum vibes in the language it's using, which is weird.
That's the thing.
But I just want to say that out loud.
Like, it doesn't sound bad, but like it sounds, believable, I guess. But like, I don't really know anything. So when somebody tells me that,
I'm a hairless monkey, so what do I know?
Yeah.
Time travel itself can be understood in terms of connected lines. When you go back in time, you travel on your original timeline. When you turn the singularity engine off, a new timeline is created due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there. Right. Yep, okay.
I don't know if it's me, Joe, but you keep cutting off
sense.
throughout that.
Okay, I'll read that again. Time itself can be understood in terms of connected lines. When you go back in time, you travel on your original timeline. When you turn the singularity engine off, a new timeline is created due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there.
Did cut off a couple of times. I don't know what it is.
That's weird. Okay. I'm all right.
I know.
So you got the general gist.
Yeah.
I'll turn off background thingy. That might help. Yeah. So that makes sense. Like that's the only logical way you could imagine to like time travel would work. You can go back on your timeline and then it starts fresh from there. So you're essentially splitting off, creating a new timeline.
Yeah, because things have changed. The one like you are now there, which wasn't there before. So everything that happens.
In which case, wouldn't that mean that every single possibility of a timeline has and will and could and will be created, and already has already? Yeah. So
you wouldn't know, would you?
What good is there trying to change the future because you're only changing it for yourself? Like, you're literally only changing the timeline for you and everyone else in that time machine. You save no one. It's all selfish, really, when you think about it.
It is, yeah.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
Okay, so some interesting outcomes of this are: one, you meet yourself. I've done it often, even taken a younger version of myself along for a few rides before returning myself to the new timeline and going back to mine. Okay, I'm already seeing a paradox here. So how can you return to your old timeline if when you go back into the past, you create a new timeline?
Point.
Like, in theory, it won't really be possible to like pick and choose the timeline that you're on, right, and follow through, because otherwise you wouldn't have to do fuck all. You could just follow. You could just like go back and forth through the strings like that. You know. So. Okay, 2, you can alter history in the new universe that you have just created. Most of the time, the changes are subtle. Sometimes I'll notice car models that don't exist or books that come out late. Unfortunately, it was also discovered that anyone going forward in time from my 2036 hit a brick wall after 2564. Please pray that we discover the reason why there is no apparent future after 2564. Well, the thing is, like, if you go back and you create a new timeline, then surely that new timeline would be entirely different to the other one. Like, you'd be able to change it so much that the whole thing's just like surely if there's timelines where things like a book comes out at a different date, then there'll be a timeline where the world ends 2569. Nice. So how could every single timeline stop at 2564? Unless that's, time collapsing in on itself because we discovered time travel and made too many paradoxes.
Maybe it's just a black hole heading towards
maybe
solar system right now. Doubt it.
Also, how do they hit a brick wall? Like, what? Do they just go to 2565 and get no contact? Like, no one comes back?
Like,
or what? Like, why have they not gone to 2563 and just waited about for a year and then jumped into the time machine and hopped back to warn everyone?
Or just head to the same spot in 20 565, and then there's no Earth. You know, you'd still be there, I guess. You'd just be in the same spot, but they would just
Like, how can you hit a wall in time travel? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No. No. Unless
I
when
just
they get to
noticed
20.
this on the side. I'm sorry. Nuke with me. Marlon makes M-plat parmesan in microwave. I love that. Nuke with me. That's brilliant. It's a genius concept. I'm gonna have to watch whatever that is later on. Okay. Hope we don't get claimed for this video because it seems it's played in its entirety.
Oh no! Can you imagine? Not even any audio, just
Oh, I know.
straight up playing in the background.
Okay. The unknown time traveler described a Y2K disaster that would leave people frozen to death. A government institute in martial law, a power facility in Denver destroyed by a mob, a communal government system sprouting out of the chaos. Naturally, he sent the immediate follow-up facts, which Bell also read on air. Dear Mr. Bell, I'm glad you're back. I faxed this information to you the day before you left the air. I wanted to make sure it wasn't lost in the shuffle, so I'm sending a gift. As I said then, I am a time traveler. I have been on this world line since April of this year, and I plan to leave soon. Typically, time travelers do not purposefully affect the world lines they visit. However, this mission is unusually long, and I've grown attached to some of the people I have met here. Okay?
Okay.
What's my focus doing? Come on. Silly focus. So, 2 years later, user dubbed Time Traveler Zero left a message similar to the Coast to Coast faxes in Time Traveler Institute forums. The known safe space for people interested in coronal navigation.
Corona.
And a logical destination for an actual time traveler to make contact. They said, "Greetings, I'm a time traveler from the year 2036. I am on my way home after getting an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. My time machine is a stationary mass temporal displacement unit manufactured by General Electric. Stationary mass temporal displacement unit."
Let's find as many big
General-
words as we can throw in a sentence, and it'll
I'm
sound
trying
brilliant.
to figure out if that makes any sense. Temporal displacement. I guess that does kind of make sciencey
What does it
sense,
mean by
but it still does
temporal?
some.
What the fuck does that mean?
Temporal, I think, is like time and space, referencing time and space. So, time and space displacement.
It is a word relating to worldly as opposed to spiritual affairs.
The unit is powered by two top-spin, dual positive singularities that produce a standard offset Tipler sinusoid.
Yeah, and it's just gibberish, isn't it?
So positive black holes. Singularity is a black hole that produce a standard offset. Yeah, what does offset mean in electrical engineering?
Offset. I have no idea. To be fair.
Wait, offset.
So a sinusoid is another term for a sine wave, a sine curve.
Okay, so it's an offset Tipler sine wave. What does Tipler mean?
Fuck knows. These are all words beyond my knowledge. Offset Tipler solenoid will determine the direction taken along the CTC, i.e. forwards or backwards.
Tipler physics.
So it is a thing. Oh.
I'm gonna
Are we?
Google whatever the fuck that said. What was it? Fucking offset tipless sinusoid.
Yeah, I just typed that and a website comes up. Timetravel.institute. And then it says it's in another dimension. Sorry, this doesn't live here anymore.
What website was that?
Timetravel.institute.
I'm not seeing that one.
What did you type in? Just offset Tipler.
Offset tipless sinusoid.
Oh, I spelled it with an A because I didn't see it on your screen.
Right.
Try it with an A. First, well, I am using Bing. To be fair, I don't know
Okay.
why.
Oh, so that's where our Bing view come from.
Ah, maybe, probably. The only person in the world that uses Bing.
I don't know why you call yourself out like that, but oh yeah, I've actually. Oh no, it's not. I thought it was purple for a second. Right, I'm not on Google. Why is it Why are the links purpley and then go blue? Why? Yeah, sorry, it doesn't live here. It's in the. It's in another dimension. Let's plug this into the Wayback Machine.
Do you know what I love though? I love though. Like, it just shows how shit Bing is. Like that was the first thing it gave you.
Yeah, dead link.
Like what? Google wouldn't give you that shit, surely.
I can't find it now. I'm going Google. Right, I'm checking the Wayback Machine, see if they've got anything for it. Nope, nothing, unfortunately. Let's double check.
So it seems like that website was literally created just so people would type that phrase in.
I guess it's a deleted forum.
Okay, but there's just there's nothing. Typing in that brings me nothing else. Oh, there's a couple of images. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. A tipless cylinder time travel. This looks interesting. Copy the image, and I will.
Okay, so the Time Travel Institute first popped up around about June 20th. That's the first we have on the Wayback Machine for it. Checking it out now. All right. Theories and concepts. Dr. von Schneiling. Gunther von Schneiling.
Sounds apart.
I can't find much on the guy. Though it does. Oh, there's something about John Titor. Actually, oh no, it's in another dimension.
Oh, really? God
There's
damn.
gotta be a way. Oh, cached? Come on. This is a Google Cache version snapshot as it appeared 11th of 20. Oh, wait. Wait, was it recently taken down?
Oh,
Was it recently taken down?
Wait,
It was recent. It was taken down 11th of August. So this is the last snapshot of it, and now it doesn't exist.
Maybe too late.
So February 25th, 2006. Hello everyone, I am James Wrote It, and I have something to let you all know. This is going to sound hard to believe, but I'm serious about this. I know John Titor. I met him in 2035 when I was introduced to a mission involving time travel. The mission involved me and 4 others, including John. Just to let you know, John Titor isn't his real name. And James Wrote It isn't mine either. James wrote it. That's
Yeah.
I'm
just
being
thinking about that.
I'm
He just says not his real name, but I mean, okay.
Oh, wrote it is tighter backwards. Fucking clever.
Okay.
I will not give you them out to protect our counterparts in this world line. To continue about the mission, I'll give you much info as I feel I need. The mission began fall of 2035 when my superior officers came to me and asked if I'd like to take part in the mission involving time travel. 2 days later, I found myself in a room with John and 2 others being briefed about individual time traveling missions. Different world lines, each having their own objectives. Of course, you know about John's mission, so I won't waste my little time here talking about that. But during the course, CORSE, of the mission, we lost contact with him. I don't want to call out spelling because I'm bad enough for that myself, but I just thought...
Joe, the McMahon's time travel. Have some fucking respect.
He's time traveled. You'd think he'd be smarter. Or you'd think he'd know how to use spell check.
How dare you?
In 2006, did they have spell check on the internet then? I didn't know this until my mission. Fuck up, will you?
He's popping off.
Innit? I am busy. I'm working. Go away. Right. He told me that when I came, I did not know of this till I returned from my mission and was debriefed. John returned March 2036 after he was debriefed. I had a chance to sit with him, and he told me about his experiences in this world line. He told me that when he came here, he had made some web posts about his life and about the future, and how what he had done could affect your world line and ours. That's what he had done might have been a mistake, causing all the world lines to be thrown off and each history to be re-altered. After hearing this, I knew that our lives as we knew it could never be the same. In May of 2037, I was once again introduced to a mission involving time travel to this world line for a single objective, and to complete this objective in our world line, we would be in extreme danger. I accepted the mission, hence why I'm talking to you right now. I am making this post not to tell you everything you want to know, but to let you know that this is true, that this is true. John was here, and time travel will be possible in the future. My story may seem short and unreal, but I'm making this to the point, giving you the info I feel you need to know. And in that, I have to get to my objective here. My time is very limited, so you can choose.
No, it's not.
To believe
No,
me.
no, it's not. No, it's not. Don't fucking say that. Yeah,
By
but
definition, your time is not limited. You
Jesus.
travel time.
Motherfucker, you lying. You lying, bitch. I'll make that excuse. Motherfucker.
Some may doubt me and try to say I'm a fake, but if you believe in John's story, then hopefully you'll believe mine. I will return to this site after completing my mission and before I return home. When I will return, I will try to answer any questions you have for me before I leave. Thank you for listening. There are other comments? A letter of proper acceptance at this institute accepts your visit here. First question, please can you describe the return maintenance issue involving the sanctioned use of the said G time displacement unit assigned to said
really...
time traveler.
I like it. People really question.
Yeah.
Me. Like, come on in, give us a
specs. How was the unit when they returned it? Good shape, little damage, jury rigged. Whoa, Nelly just got her in by the skin of her teeth. If I want a good meal in your time, what sources are there for me to get this, please?
Okay. Look at the state of this webpage. What the hell?
Well, it's cached, so it's missing a lot of the a lot of extra stuff. Like, for example, this would have been a user picture if it were like, because there's the name picture,
where was it?
and then it would have been the guy's post, his comment. Hello, everyone. I am James Rota. I have something to let you all know. This is going to sound hard to believe. Oh, that's a quote. Perhaps you know Tutor, but you didn't meet him in 2035 on a mission involving time travel, since it's only 2006. Nearly 100% of the population here in John's story knows it's completely fabricated. That makes your story a complete fabrication as well. Okay, testing way 2.
He's just saying what we're all thinking.
Yeah.
That's B for bullshit.
Ask the other John to teach you some composition skills. That was way boring. Oof, getting roasted.
Yeah, it's like almost egging him on to try and say something else.
Your mission is complete. Now go home. Yes, please. If he does not go home, I'll be forced to pull out my debunking sticks. What do you think, Darby? I'd say this one probably a par 3 or less. Perhaps a 3 wood might do the trick. Or is this sure enough to go with an iron? Okay.
Brilliant.
Fucking 2006 internet humor, bro.
Yeah.
So there are people in 2035 that claim they're from the future, and they're obviously not. Some of these comments are so basic. Like, Jesus
I know.
Christ.
That's not. I was not
Like, why can't this shit get posted in 2020? Like, we'd have everyone all over this. Okay, so might be able to pull up that first one with the Wayback Machine then. Yeah, so I think it's the... Oh, wait. Could I pull up the actual... Or was that just searching within... Let's see. If I paste this into here, I'll get rid of, like... Ah, it seems the link's too long, maybe?
Ah.
Oh.
Ah,
Wait, what happened?
Didn't know that was a thing.
Or is it actually working now? Oh, that's recent stuff. I need... Doesn't help that I can't see my fucking keys.
Oh, is this merch? What merch is
Yeah,
out
this
time
is the
travel?
modern website. There's a link straight to John Titor.
Oh.
Come on, give me it. Nothing. Son of a bitch.
Dang.
Oh yeah, I forgot I used the fucking Google's cached version, didn't I? That's how I got to it. So where is that link here? Is that it? Cached. So this was deleted 13th of the 8th, 2020.
Okay.
Spooky action builds a wormhole between entangled quantum particles. So this guy's saying, John Titor time machine comes to mind here. By extending the event horizon of spinning micro-singularities, it may be possible to use wormhole teleportation to travel to distant events in the past or future. The extended event horizon would effectively shield one's memory and physical age, so that they may make significant jumps in time. There's no escape from the event horizon of a black hole, unless, of course, you could turn the black hole off and on at will using spinning micro-singularities. Yeah, but, like, if you're going to expand the event horizon of a black hole, then won't it suck everything within that event horizon in and not let it back out? How can you turn that off? Because at that point, if you could extend that event horizon around your body, would that not just release the black hole?
Mm.
You couldn't turn it off at that point,
No,
surely.
No, it'd be too late.
It's like, imagine you accidentally smashed your plasma lamp
and it was just sparking off everywhere, trying to turn that's what comes to mind in that scenario.
Yeah.
Turn a black hole off, similar sort of
Yeah.
student called June Present written an interesting paper on Tipler sinusoids, so why was this deleted so recently as well?
You reckon it was deleted by the creator?
Don't know. What was the date of this webpage then? Like where's the comments? It's gotta have like a date on one of the comments somewhere, right? Posted April 26th, but 26th of what? This year? Oh, so this was a forum post this year, within the last couple months. It's not even as if this is a 2006 article that was deleted in Tidy Up. This was very recent.
Just shows there's always somebody out there looking at this shit.
It's weird that shit like this just gets taken down, you know? Like, you can see how people can fall into rabbit holes when they read into this shit. Mini black holes, blah, blah, blah. So apparently, massive black holes and because the black holes are electrically charged positive, their mass and angular momentum could be controlled by firing electrons at them. By varying their masses, the geometry of the central cylinder would be altered slightly from one end to the other, causing the resulting tipular sinusoid to be offset. I theorize this offset tipular sinusoid will determine the direction taken along the CTC, forwards or backwards, current time circuit. However, because of quantum nature of the mini black holes, this idea will need to be explored with a theory that incorporates quantum theory of gravity, like string theory, also provided means of testing theory. Further, Nikorov's self-consistency principle, Everett's many worlds interpretation, Hawkins' protection conjuncture could also be tested experimentally. I hope to see this done sometime in the future. Okay, Travis Tremley. I don't know whether... I don't know what you were saying for half of that, but sounds legit.
Yeah. Like we saw like the evidence and findings and specifics for the shit that we would already kind of know would make time travel work. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I guess we have an idea of how time travel would be, or what conditions we would need to have to enable it. But like, so where's all that in information? Like that guy brought up there, string theory and and shit.
I think the problem with a lot of these people trying to tie together like actual science to a lot of this is that they probably don't have the best understanding of it all. Like, they are essentially on a message board for fun, really. Which is why it's so weird that this thread got taken down. Physics of Time Travel by Dr. Peter Koch. I'm gonna be watching that later. 5-minute video.
Yeah. How much longer do you reckon we'll stay on for that?
Probably do need to shoot off to take Lewis over to drop his prescription off or whatever soon. To be fair, like we're really getting into rabbit holes at this point. I feel.
We're gonna become one of these people who
but before we get too deep, it may actually be a good point to end it here. So that was wild.
Yeah, this has been a deep one. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this has been wild. Like, there's a lot to go over in all of that. I need to get into the habit of using the stream markers.
Yeah, I'd like to do this kind of thing again.
Yeah, specifically this John Titus stuff is actually really kind of interesting, to be honest. And
there's lots
like,
of...
it really kind of itches that conspiracy thing with all this way back, all this like time travel forum that with the cached pages being deleted and all that. Like, why was this gone? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, legit, it was posted. I mean, there's not much here, admittedly. Like,
that's what's so shady about it.
That's the whole length of it. So you could argue there was just like, what is the way the Internet Thingy Institute now, Time Travel Institute? So if we just go to the web page itself and that's it, what's there? Excuse me. So it doesn't really look like there's much in the thing of forums anymore. It looks like they might have moved their forums over to here. So that might be why a lot of it's gone. So, I am a time traveler, time travel science, futurology and life extension. Oh man, I'm gonna have a fucking field day.
You have to have an update video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow up on it all. Calendar. Hang on. Go on. Tell me this as like claimed future events. Or can like time travelers hop in and like add events to the calendar or something?
Oh shit. Can you imagine?
I like this website. CuriousCosmos.com.
Imagine finding that leak. Where it's just all of these and you're just like,
event stream. No events are scheduled this month or next month or the month after. Come on, time travelers, give us something. When's COVID-20 come out?
when does the big thing happen? How far can you look?
I'm not sure, man. Our beloved pets. So I'm on the dimensions bit now. Dystopian books. Natural scientists, unsolved murders. So this is all just other speculative music club. Weird to have all of these dimensions on your time travel thing. But you do you, boo. Our picks. What's this then? List of English composers. I don't know what's... The fictional ones are intended to become a reality in a separate timeline or in revised history. Okay, so that's a load of crap, it sounds like. That one looks spicy, I'ma say. Something UFO file to download and listen to.
Oh yeah, you should definitely download that, Joe.
Oh yeah, give me the virus. Give me the virus.
Download the COVID straight into you.
Oh, .text file. Beautiful.
Here we go. Come on. Anything juicy?
Not that I can see too much without reading this whole thing. Excerpt from a magazine or something. I'm not entirely sure that is. I'll read it later. A close look at Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo de la Ninja Turtles. Reading about that. I wish they could like headpin these with like what is actually going on rather than me having to figure it out, you know? I don't like having to fucking read through half an article to know what it's about. How to have out-of-body experiences.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the CIA's looked into that. Astral projection and all that stuff. And they've found, like... the funny thing about astral projection is that the CIA did studies into it and determined that it is possible, but they can't tell of the accuracy well enough that they could practically use it as a weapon or in actual application.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, either astral projection's real or the CIA wants us to believe astral projection's real. Let that sink in.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which is more likely.
Because Bob Lazar always mentions about, like, sometimes you get handed documents and you read them and you'd be like, well, is this fake? Is this purposeful misdirection? So I wonder if stuff like that gets let out and is actually a load of crap.
Mm.
Like, that's always in the back of my mind. And I think that's why I'll never be a true, proper crackpot conspiracy theorist. If I can't let myself believe astral projection is real when the CIA tells me, then surely I can't fall that far down the rabbit hole, right? Like, what do you think about that? But before we hop off, final thoughts, astral projection.
Wrap my mind around this.
Yeah, there's a lot to go in all of that, because, like, I think in one study they had a guy hooked up intravenously with DMT so he could stay in contact with the aliens.
Okay.
And there were actual negotiation sessions with CIA operatives intravenously hooked up with DMT to negotiate with the DMT elves.
It's interesting.
You can read the papers on that. They've been released by the CIA. So feel free, bro. It started circulating Facebook a little while ago. And it's all legit. It'll be on, like, let's see, I had a CIA thing up earlier. Yeah, it'll be on, like, this website, cia.gov.
Check it out for yourselves. Do some digging.
Like, for example, this is the official CIA page on Operation Paperclip. It would seem. The chronology of events, all there. So just a little thing of it. One of the German scientists they recruited created a nerve agent called Tabun. The Germans called it 991, and after their defeat in Stalingrad, seriously considered using it on the Russians, apparently.
What?
Now that that would have been that if that had happened in the war, then it would have been proper fucking. It would have gotten even worse than it would have, because I'm pretty sure they still had, like, no nerve agents and shit like that back then. Like, that was after mustard gas was used in World War One. They decided to rule against that in war. I might be wrong again, but I think that's accurate. But that's enough of going off the deep end. I think I need to come back up for some air.
Yes. We'll have a little roundup.
So yeah, let's see. We looked into the moon landing. We went through and tried to debunk, for lack of a better word, a lot of the talking points and arguments against it. And we moved into QAnon and tried to summarize and look into that, and miraculously, somehow that led us into time travel and how President Donald Trump is a time traveler trying to save us from our own annihilation.
Now that's the title.
Donald Trump is a time traveler saving us from our own annihilation. If we wanted to absolutely berate the video with negative comments from QAnon people, then yes. But I don't think my puny ego can handle that just yet. We don't have enough clout yet.
Yeah, fair.
So,
Fair.
but I've been toying with some titles around all of that stuff. Like, I'll probably chuck something about John Titor into it.
Yes.
The stream at the moment is no, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Love it.
But yeah, I think that kind of sums up a little bit of moon landing conspiracy, the grand unification of conspiracy theories, and time travel.
Pretty deep. Yes. So we we did this as a kind of little special episode for our 10th episode. Next week we're gonna have a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Because we need
Much needed break.
Yeah, we're gonna focus on a lot of the social medias.
Yeah, we gotta do some admin.
We've got to do it because we keep saying we'll do it and we never do it.
No, we never have.
Well, to be fair, I'll do it and I never do it. But hop on about the same time, and we're just gonna just get it out, get it done. So then, ready for the next episode, we can post.
Yeah, be sick. It would be sick to like actually get a message out to like people before we start streaming, rather than having just randoms pop in every now and then.
Which is nice. Which is lovely.
It's always nice. We love it. We love chatting to the randomers.
It's even more lovely when they follow.
Yeah,
I love it when they follow.
It's sexy as fuck when they follow.
It turns me on. It turns me on when they follow.
Gets me going. Gets the people going.
Does.
But yeah, I think that's a good point to leave it there before. Frankly, my brain collapses into singularity. It's feeling that way right now.
Yeah, that was deep.
Yeah, so catch you all next time. You can catch us on all the usual places: YouTube, Spotify, Google Play Music, Podcasts, whatever the hell Google calls it, and YouTube for the videos. We've got it all up in the up above us, up by there. I think all the handles are right. And chuck us a follow so you can get notifications from us when we actually do set it up. Until then, you'll just have to tune in on YouTube, Twitch, or any popular podcast platform, including Apple Podcasts. Thinking about it. So
basically
we'll
everything.
Everything and everywhere. But yeah, that's the way we're going to leave it. We'll catch you all next time. Not next Thursday, but the one after this time. So not that anyone's actually can hear this right now, unless you're on YouTube. Eh? But yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave it.
Catch you
all
later.
Enjoyed, and stay sane out there.
Yes.
That's Discord, not. That's